some of my PlayStation 4 games. I don't have very many, but I thought you might be interested to see the ones that I do have. I mostly use my PlayStation 4 for console exclusive games, meaning that if it's on another system, I will probably buy it on another system. Just due, in fact, to the part that I still have a standard PlayStation 4, whereas I've got the Xbox One X, and so that's what I use for most of my multi-platform games, because most of them have 4K resolution nowadays, and I really like that, using that on my TV, so yeah, but let's go ahead and get started. Also, I should mention that I do have a few virtual reality, PlayStation VR games, because that's another big selling point with the PlayStation 4 for me. It was my first time experiencing VR, and I, really enjoyed some of the experiences I had on it. Alright, let's get started. First game is Batman Arkham VR. Like I said, some of these games were the first time I ever experienced VR, and I think this one was, really the one that sold me on it. It just is an incredible experience. It's super fun. It's pretty short, but I feel like this one does a really great job of showing you just what it's capable of, the VR's technology. And yeah, I'm sure there are better experiences now, but this one, I believe, was a launch title for the PlayStation VR, and I feel like it did a really awesome job at selling it. Set that off to the side. Next, we have Nier Automata Game of the Year Edition. Now, I don't have too much to say about this one, because I've only put about 30 minutes into it. This was one of my newest pickups, and yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to play it very much yet, but I've heard amazing things, and I went ahead and got this edition because it came with all the DLC, and I wanted to play the complete version. There's a code there. It's already been redeemed, but for a second that scared me because I was like, oh, have I redeemed that yet? And the answer is yes. Actually, I haven't looked through all of this though. But yeah, I'm excited to get around to playing that one some more. Next up is PlayStation VR Worlds. This is a pretty standard tech demo, I would say. It's got a few different, experiences. I feel like they would call them, PlayStation VR experiences. I don't know if you can see that. Personally, I didn't play all of these. Everybody talks about the bank heist one, but in my opinion, I actually feel like the shark one was a little bit more effective. You're essentially trapped in one of those diver cages, and you have to survive a shark attack. And there's also a peaceful mode, so if you just want to go down in the ocean and look around and stuff, so I felt like that was really cool. But the London heist was also interesting. Another VR game, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. I feel like this is probably the 8th time I've bought this game. Just it's been around for so long, it feels like. And this is definitely an interesting experience. I will say that this is the only VR game that has made me motion sick. But in its defense, it offered a point-and-click movement system for people who are prone to motion sickness, and I'm not, or at least I didn't think that I was. And so I went with the standard, like push forward, kind of, move your controller forward to walk. And the first time I did that, it just felt like my brain was melting because I didn't realize what I was in for, basically, and I just kind of pushed the controller, and I felt nauseated, and I felt sick for a good hour after that. So I haven't put too much time into this because I really kind of frightened by that nausea. But I have gone back and played it a few times with the point and click, and it works. It is just not, I don't know, I haven't put much time into it, so I really can't say whether or not, it's like a good way to experience Skyrim. But it is fun, it's Skyrim, so. And I feel like if you know yourself and you know that you can handle VR, this is definitely one you could play for an extended amount of time. Because with other VR games, I feel like you just kind of, you play them for like half an hour, and then you set them aside, and you maybe show your friends and let other people try it, but you don't really come back to it. This is one that really is demanding a lot of time, to really beat Skyrim. I mean, it is the full game and all the DLC, so I just don't know that I would wear the headset for that long, those long play sessions, but I'm still willing to try it again. I just haven't recently. Next is Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Trees Woe and the Blight Below. I honestly don't know how I came into possession of this game. I think I found it for super cheap, and I knew that it was like I actually don't know if this is a PlayStation exclusive, but I don't know, I had never heard of it, and it honestly reminded me of like a Dynasty Warriors game when I looked up gameplay. And I think I got it for honestly like $3 or $4, so I just picked it up. I haven't played it, but I'm always looking to get into the Dragon Quest series because I've heard really good things. Last VR game here is Rick and Morty Virtual Reality. And yeah, this is definitely one of those games that falls under the, play for an hour and then never play it again kind of game. Which is definitely, that's totally fine. That's just the way it goes with most VR games, because their experiences, right? Like, I don't know, it's a little bit different than a normal video game, but it is still fun to keep around and to, have other people try it out. So that's why, it's still in my collection. And honestly don't remember much other than, it's, if you're a Rick and Morty fan, which I'm kind of neutral on, I haven't seen the whole show, but I've seen enough to like know the characters, and it's definitely got enough for fans to really enjoy it. Alright, on to some of the core PlayStation experiences. Yakuza 0. This is a game that I'm in love with right now. It's pretty much all I've been playing on my PlayStation. It's just a really unique Japanese arcade style game that also manages to tell, you can tell that the disc is in my PlayStation right now. It manages to tell a really intriguing story that's pretty gritty and serious, while at the same time maintaining like this playful tone in the world itself, and like some of the mini games and stuff you can play. It's just fantastic. I honestly plan on putting a lot more time into this. This is the first Yakuza game I've played, and I've heard great things about all of them, but I also heard that this was a really good place to start, so I'm glad that I started with this one, because it seems like that is the case. Next is Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection. I'm still working my way through this. I'm about halfway through the third game. I never owned a PS3, so I never played these games when they were available for the PS3. So I felt like this was a really good package, to pick these games up for the first time. And honestly, they have aged pretty well. Other than the first one, it was a little clunky, but I think that was just the nature of the game itself, according to what I've heard. Just that the game itself was never amazing to begin with, but 2 and 3 definitely play really well, and 2 is just an incredible action game, and it's worth the price alone. I think I got this for like $20 or even less, so this is definitely worth it. I have yet to play 4, obviously, because I haven't beaten 3, but once I get around to finishing 3, I will definitely pick up 4, because I've heard great things about that one too. And next is Persona 5. This is the steelbook that I think it was Target released. I have not managed to sink a lot of time into this game, honestly. I've just heard so many great things about it, and it's honestly a little disappointing that it didn't grab my attention like I wanted it to, because I have played Persona games in the past. I put a decent amount of time into Persona 4 and Persona 3, so I was really hoping that this would just be a game that would hold my attention for like months on end. And I don't know, I think I just didn't stick with it. I don't think it's any fault of the game itself. I actually lent it to a friend because I just knew I wasn't going to pick it up anytime soon. So I know he's still playing through it, and he's enjoying it, but yeah, I don't know, I definitely want to give it another shot. I just know that it's such a journey, picking up a Persona game they're so long, and obviously I knew that going in, but I think that's one of the reasons I'm a little hesitant to pick it back up. It's just because I know that I'm getting myself into like a very long journey, I guess. But one day. Alright, we got 2 more left. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. Yeah, this is a game that gets a lot of praise from people, and I don't love it, honestly. I've put about 8 hours into it, and I don't know, it's just a little goofy, and the story is a little, something, it takes itself too seriously, and I feel like the story is not that great, and I don't know, I just had heard so many good things about it that I really expected it to catch my attention, and it hasn't yet. But that's not to say that I'm done with it. I'm gonna keep going, and hopefully it improves, because, I feel like the first couple hours of this game is just, like, getting through the tutorials and setting up the world. So I'm just around the point where the world kind of starts to open up, and you can really just do what you want to do in whatever order you want, and I think that'll be the reason I end up enjoying this game rather than, the story itself. So, alright, and finally, we've got God of War. This is an incredible game. I just beat this, maybe 2 weeks ago or so. I just played through it over the course of a week or so, and I just couldn't put it down. I'm still working on this game. Surprisingly has a lot of in-game content. After you beat the story, there's still a lot of stuff to do, and I'm not sure that I'll ever, 100% it, because I feel really satisfied with where I left it. But that being said, this game has an incredible story, and out of all the PlayStation exclusives I played, this is definitely the best one, at least on the PlayStation 4. And I'm really excited for this series to keep going. I hope that, I don't know what they're going to call it. I mean, I guess they could call it God of War 2, but, that's been a thing, so I don't know how they're going to handle sequels, but I hope that it is in this same vein rather than going back to, like, the hack and slash gameplay that the older ones were known for. But yeah, that's an incredible game, and I think everybody should check it out if you have a PlayStation 4. That's gonna do it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below if you think there's anything on the PlayStation 4 that my collection is missing, if there's any, like, incredible game that just happens to be flying under my radar. And yeah, that's gonna do it. So I hope you have a great night, and I will see you in the next one.